Hello, today I'm going to be giving a tour of my entrance, resident services, and the surrounding areas of my island. I've been working on this for a couple of months now. I'm playing vanilla, also known as no cheating, meaning no time traveling and doing everything the way the game was intended. Plus the help of some friends who are kind enough to share their DIYs and items. I also don't really have an island theme. I would say it's normcore or naturecore adjacent. Basically, I'm just doing whatever feels right and what I want for my island. This is also by no means my finished entrance. I will still be adding on and potentially changing some things in the future. This is also my current map. I did some terraforming but wanted to keep most of my original island intact. Without further ado, let's get started on the tour. This is what you see as soon as you exit the airport. There are 3 different directions you can travel in. First though, I will show you the 2 mini builds in the front. First, on the right side, this is meant to be a little welcome desk area where visitors can see the activities happening around the island. I also added a cute little gyroid there. On the left side, I have a little sitting area with a tiny library, which is one of my favorite items. I also have a cliff with a river running through it. The one thing I'm not completely content with is the cliff decorating, so I will be continuing that. And here you can see more of the waterscaping and terraforming I did with the bridge over top. Now we are going to the right side of my entrance area. I have some cliff terraforming here as well. I wanted to make them more natural and mountain-like. And then we have Tangy's house. I didn't really have a theme for her house. I just wanted a cute outdoor space, but I did add some orange juice though. Here's a bit of a closer look at the cliff. I used a lot of wheat fields, trees, flowers, and some iron and stone fencing to give a mix of a natural and town square look. Now back to Tangy's yard. I just went for a more traditional outdoor look. This was the first villager exterior I decorated on this island, so I kind of went a little basic with it. And one of my favorite spots on my island so far, Tangy's private beach. I love decorating her beach, and when I first moved her house here, I didn't realize that I could utilize the beach as part of her house's exterior, making it a beachfront lot, so I'm so thankful I did that. This area is just a little lounge and tanning area with some beach chairs, a radio, and I did find a custom code for cute sand designs. And then for my favorite part, I built a little dinner party area, so I added a bunch of different chairs, tables, patterns, and food, and I loved how it turned out. I even added some of the festival items for more pops of color. I think this is one of my favorite builds so far on my island. Here is a more up-close look at it. I honestly had no idea the Turkey Day items could be customized to spring items until I saw a build on Pinterest, but they ended up being perfect for this build. And you can see some of the food items I ended up using. Moving on to the edge of her property, I added a private beach sign with a custom code I found on Pinterest, which is where I find all of my custom codes. Continuing on up the beach, I have just a mini public beach here with just 2 beach chairs and one of the lifeguard chairs. Just above that, I have this rock that I made into a little fishing area. I added this bench in a lookout area, and this is the fishing area. I used a lot of items from the fishing tourney because they fit so well with the build. And here is a close-up view of that. Above the fishing area, I made a boat launch. I thought it was perfect for this area in between the river mouth and rocks where there's a tiny strip of beach. I added a mini car and boat, of course, some wheat fields, and one of the retro gas pumps and a plastic canister to refuel the boat. I also added a little sign to make it clear that it was a boat launch. We are currently back at my entrance going across the bridge to resident services. I chose a close resident services because I've only ever chose ones that are far from my entrance. This is the view I have from the bridge. I wanted it to have a town feeling, but still wanted there to be a lot of natural elements. I added a lot of trees, flowers, leaves, and ended up using iron and stone fencing for the more town/city vibe. I added a little flower garden behind the bench. I love the mix of flowers and colors I've been using on the island, and here's just a little close-up view of that. Here is the actual resident services area. I kept it pretty simple and just added an ABD and a phone booth to that one side, but I love the simplicity of it because everything around it is more crowded and chaotic. I will show them later, but I do have some cliffs in behind resident services as well. Now we are heading left on the path. I just have some more cliff terraforming around, and one of the first things you see when you come this way is my little outdoor cafe. I love the new mug shelf that came with the new update. It is so cute and perfect for cafes and kitchens. And this is just a close-up view. I use some items that Brewster gives you for ordering a certain amount of coffees, and I added some snacks like pretzels. Across from the cafe, I made a soccer field. I knew I wanted to have a soccer field on this island, and I decided on this spot as a transition between the town area and the more natural side of my island. I thought this was so cute, but someone gifted Blue Bear a soccer jersey and she was wearing it while sitting beside the soccer field. I am obsessed. I added some plastic benches and I even found the lines for the field on Pinterest, which I feel like added a lot. I also added a drinking fountain and of course some trees. I really love this transition away from the town-like feel. I struggled for a while trying to come up with something for this area, but I really love how this turned out. If we continue on the path, we come across my park. I used the elephant slide and the springy ride item. I really wanted to use the new kids items from the hotel, but they were too big for this area, unfortunately. I will be saying this a lot, but I really do love how this park turned out, and I thought it matched really well with the soccer field. In front of the park, I made a pond and found cute custom codes to go with it, including a little sign and some hopscotch. I also started using the lighter dirt path because I wanted to transition away from the stone path I was using before. My goal for this area was to fill it with a bunch of nature and greenery. As you can see in a couple places, I also ended up using some glowing moss. In front of the pond, I made a picnic area, but instead of food, I added a scrapbook and a paint set with a lace umbrella, a bear. I also had a bubble machine in there, which is also an item I think is very underrated. Traveling a little more to the left, I have a sitting area with some books. This is also just kind of a little transition area. I kind of want to decorate more here eventually, but I will get to that later. Down here, I made another public beach area with a fortune cookie cart, some chairs, and other beach accessories. Continuing on the beach, I have another dinner party area, but this one is giving brunch. I love all the mismatched pillows. I also added some festival items to this build. I thought it would be a great way to utilize these items because I haven't before. I also used some plain party lights, and overall I just love how this turned out, especially at night when the lights are on. Next, I'm headed all the way back to the stairs that were near resident services, which is where my nooks and ables are located. I wanted my shops to be near resident services and my airport to keep up with the town center theme. This is what you see when you first walk up the stairs. So I have nooks there to the left, and then I have a little bench back here. And to the right, I have a flower shop and a bakery because I wanted to have kind of like a market area place. So obviously I have a bunch of flowers and plants at the flower shop, including some vases, and at the bakery I have some bread baskets and carrot cake. I thought I was gonna want more vendors here, but I ended up just wanting the flower shop and bakery, or else it would have been too crowded. I also thought the vertical sign with the bread customization was so cute, and it fit perfectly with this build. Outside of nooks, I made a sitting area and added the paper bag and some food. I wanted a sitting area for the bakery and for people shopping. Here's just an overview of nooks. To the left of my nooks, I have my ables, and outside of the shop, I added a little sewing area. I think the sewing machine is one of the cutest items, so I really wanted to incorporate that in this build. I also found 2 custom codes of dresses on Pinterest that I wear all the time and added them outside of the shop. Overall, it's been very convenient having the 2 shops beside each other. Now we are going all the way back to look at the right side of resident services. As you can see, I decided to go with a bike rental area. I loved the cruiser bikes and wanted there to be a lot of them on my island, and this was the perfect way to do so. And even further to the right, I made a cliff and put Ketchup's house on top. I did end up changing the exterior of her house after I completed the 30 houses in HHP. I added a clothesline, bistro table, and some frosted pretzels outside of her house, and this is me just showing you like where it is located. It's located by that little public beach and fishing area. Up behind resident services, I added 3 little cliffs. The furthest right one has some butterfly models, and the other 2 mainly have fencing and flowers. I wanted to add cliffs because I didn't want to build something right behind resident services because it would be fairly blocked from the building. Past Ketchup's house, I have another little cliff with some bears on it, and the plan is to add the outdoor picnic DIY during cherry blossom season. And here's just a quick little overview of that area. Continuing on, I made this peninsula dock situation. This again serves as a transition between the town area and the more rural area. You can kind of see I've started decorating past this, but that'll be for another video. I'm usually not the best at waterscaping, but I loved how this turned out and I'm very proud of it. Continuing on to the left behind the shops, I just have this path basically. I still need to continue decorating this area more. I'm still waiting for more DIYs and seasonal items like Bunny Day and Cherry Blossom season, but I do have this little sitting area directly behind resident services. And then now the stairs you saw earlier in between Nooks and Abel's leads to some villager houses. So the first one is Blue Bear's house, and beside hers is Sherb's. I did do the exterior of their houses to match each other better. They have a shared yard with each other as well, and behind the house is kind of a swampy area, and then the front of the house has some table, chairs, and other cute garden items. And here you can sort of see the back of the houses. I did add a table and chair back there as well. And there is a bridge just a bit to the left of Sherb's house, which is a more recent addition. This is another favorite area of mine. So that is all for my entrance / for my island tour. I will be adding all of the custom patterns I used in the description if anyone is interested in those. Again, I found those all on Pinterest, made by different creators. But thank you so much for watching.